424, 424,
Darling, it's the Shy Life podcast.
Yeah, but it's a positive thing, Paul. The high life, the shy life.
You won't find a cast of characters like this everywhere.
Hello, Paul.
Delicious.
This particular episode of The Shy Life is a little more abstract than usual.
Oh, yippee.
Okay, looks like the hairy guy is ready to record. 3, 2, 1.
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, I hope he hasn't found out my secret. I think he has.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Shy Life podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How are you doing? Well, I'm alright. And we're here for our March Chatterbox edition of the Shy Life podcast. And we have, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 guests plus regulars. We have Lisa, Proby, Martin Holmes,
Hello.
and we have Toppy Smelly.
Hello.
Is it March
It
already?
is March really, yes. In fact, it's
Where did that go?
creeping ever onwards towards April.
We don't have to march, do we?
No.
How can it be 3 months since Christmas? This is throwing me. This is completely throwing me out of whack.
Well,
Soon be Christmas.
again. Well, I have some facts and figures and quizzes and stuff about March, but I'm planning that we might wiki wander, and we might be picking a random, getting in the Charlotte podcast TARDIS and going to a particular year or date or episode, but we'll see what happens.
It's time for my old buddy, old pal from across the channel, across the pond, Bob Chandler, the Shy Yeti.
He's not that shy. Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast. Yeah.
All I wanted was a pie.
And then I hatched out of an egg. Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record.
It's the quiet ones you've got to watch, you know.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep? Is it deep?
Boy, he's not all that shy is right.
Blimey, Governor, it's the Shy Life podcast.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to begin.
It's the Shy Life podcast.
He's positively glowing.
Paul, I got a question just to lead it off with. Mm-hmm. I was listening to the Shy Life podcast today as I did my food shopping, and you announced on your little shoe that you were eating a BAP. And I've never heard of this for us Americans. What is a BAP?
It's a bun.
It's a barn cake, lad.
It's a bun or a
Or egg roll.
Bread roll.
what would you put?
Yeah.
The same thing as you.
A muffin.
If you were going to have a beef burger in the States, what would the beef burger be between?
Buns, yeah.
Yes.
A hamburger bun or a bun.
So a BAP is just a bun, really.
Bun without the fun.
I was watching a film recently, and they were going on about Kaiser rolls or something, and I was like, what's a Kaiser roll? Is it a bun that's in the shape of the Kaiser's hat or something? I don't know. Yeah.
Something they had in the trenches,
I don't know where they got their name, but they are a more substantial bun. It's larger than a typical hamburger bun, and it's got a better texture. But yeah, I don't know why it's a Kaiser roll. Yeah, we got lots of different kinds of rolls. We got, there's a number of different names, but no BAPs. No BAPs.
See, I could be really contentious and say it depends where in England you come from as to what you call it.
That's true. I was going to say Martin might argue with us about certain terminology of certain bread products. I don't know, but
Oh, I've been around.
You know your bread.
Well, no, because when I lived in South Wales, it was a bap. So, but barm cakes or oven bottom cakes, they're always fun. Just generally a bread roll. I had some for my lunch today. They were very lovely, with some ham in them.
Toppy, can you think of something in the States which is a pretty common food stuff, which has lots of different names all over? There must be plenty of things.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm sure there are. For whatever reason, all of a sudden, goulash is coming to mind. Mm-hmm. And goulash means a lot of different things depending on where you live. So that's one. But there's just so many, but they're not coming to mind.
And everybody has their own chili recipe, don't they? That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I wonder where chili originated. In Mexico, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's like when the Brits talk about an Indian curry. It's not like an Indian curry would be if you were in India. It's like a watered down version that was made for the British years ago.
Wasn't chicken tikka masala invented in Birmingham or something?
Well, that's the Balti capital. That's the Balti capital as well. Oh. And Baltis are slightly different again. Because Baltis tends to be, you don't tend to have rice. You tend to have it in an iron dish, and you have the naan breads and stuff, but you don't really have the rice. But then I didn't have them that often because being poor students, all my money went on Sutton Park props and whichever Doctor Who releases had come out at the time.
Absolutely. Who needs to eat?
No.
You mentioning that, of course, takes me to Victoria Waterfield and her Kaiser pudding. So.
Oh. What was in that? Do we know?
Well, I think she didn't know either. But
I think sultanas is in it.
You just sort of whoosh it all up, wasn't it? That was
we whoosh it all up.
My mum used to make a pudding. I bet she still would if I was at home. She said she missed particularly when I left home because I was the person who would eat, any leftovers, or she whisked it all up into put all the leftover veggies into an omelette or something, and I'd eat it, where she wouldn't get away with that with my brother, who was very fussy and probably no. Even my dad's fussier than I. It was weird growing up in a family where your dad was more fussier about certain vegetables than I was, because my mum used to grow lots of green, like sort of some of the more weirder veg you can grow, like purple sprouting and things like that. She and I would happily eat all of those things. But my dad's very funny with veg that has sort of, well, he hates things like cabbage or things that with leaves and things.
Brassicas.
So yeah, it was sort of.
My mother's specialty, I think, was Angel Delight. I think that's the only thing she was good at pudding-wise.
Is bread pudding a thing over there? I love bread pudding. And it's something we've had. My mother used to make a lot. Is that a thing over there?
It certainly was in our house. It was in our house.
Because you get bread pudding, you get bread and butter pudding, which are two completely different things.
Yeah.
Oh, what's bread and butter pudding?
That's slices of bread
raisins,
raisins in a custard, isn't it? I don't actually cook, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
I think it's a kind of milk sauce, I think. Really.
Yeah.
That's another thing my mum would do, because but she would tend to use bread that was on the turn to get rid of it, sort of thing. Whereas sometimes you go to restaurants and it's been made specially. It's a bit like...
Yeah, they do it as a specialty now, and it used to be sort of like the cheap pudding, didn't it? Now it's like when you go to a restaurant and they do you, I don't know, sausage baps as a sausage barm cake as a speciality dish.
I mean, we always used to have things like bubble and squeak, which would be leftovers. But then I had a friend a few years ago, and we would go to the supermarket to buy all of the ingredients to make bubble and squeak, because we both liked it, but it wasn't a leftover. But some of the things that were leftovers are now presented to you as posh sort of.
I mean, there's a whole load of this stuff that was comes out of World War II, doesn't it?
Yeah, just like make do with what food you've got.
Yeah, so just use stuff up. Yeah.
Was it sticky toffee became a thing, didn't it? Again, and that had sort of been a bit. It became a restaurant. I'm sorry, I really miss restaurants at the moment. I really do.
Oh my, yeah. Bubble and squeak. That's potatoes and cabbage frying up in a pan.
We used to have it more with Brussels sprouts, but I put cabbage as well. And then when I made it with my other friend, we started putting sort of chili flakes and mustard and all sorts of extra things. It's been a while since I did that now, but yeah, it became quite a.
But you're going to be having it tomorrow, I can tell.
But yeah, it was. But yeah, my mum used to make something called Superman pudding, and again, I think that was, the ends of like cake that hadn't been finished up. And I mean that's where trifle uses up cake and things as well, or it did in our house. And if you had like a sponge cake that nobody had eaten the last piece, it went into the pudding.
That doesn't happen around here.
What, that it's left over? Or?
Oh no, there's never a last piece hanging around. It's like, rump.
So I got asked at Christmas if we still sold blancmange, and I discovered we don't sell blancmange anymore. No, because I always associate blancmange with Christmas because my dad was very fond of blancmange. He used to, they'd have jelly, trifle, proper, bird's trifle, not fancy trifle, bird's trifle with bird's custard and the hundreds and thousands on top, and blancmange, and he'd have a bit of each and have it in a bowl and mix it all up.
Well, some people, their trifle recipe had a layer of blancmange rather than custard, I think. I mean, that was kind of a thing,
Yeah, trifle is a funny thing. It can be, like you sort of make it and it's quite sort of, the ingredients have been bought specially, or it can be sort of a bit sort of boozy and a bit bits of leftovers and stuff.
Boozy.
Oh yeah,
sherry.
Shove the sherry in.
Yeah, sherry trifle.
Yeah, this was literally out of a packet.
Yeah.
So just that you all sort of make up and.
I mean, I must admit, occasionally, I don't make jelly as such, but occasionally I'll buy like one of those blocks of jelly.
You just eat the
and
jelly,
just eat the cubes,
yeah.
and I always regard that as like concentrated jelly. Don't faff about diluting it with water. Just have it neat.
Because you can get
all that'll happen inside you.
Yeah.
You can get little pots of jelly now, so you don't even need to make it. You just buy a little pot of jelly, and because I had to take a little pot of jelly back from a customer the other day because it was raspberry, but it was very pale pink, and they thought it probably didn't have as much.
It didn't have the raspberry.
No, it didn't have any raspberry in it. So.
The raspberry had fallen into another pot.
Yeah, so the raspberry was in another pot, and it had missed this pot completely. But yeah. So
I'm sure I've told the story about when I was making the original Jelly Monster in Sutton Park, and I was in digs in Birmingham, but I was living with a family, so my rent money paid for me to have meals like an evening meal and breakfast, but their portions probably weren't quite as big as I might have had at home, so I'd always have a few extra treats in my cupboard, but I thought wouldn't it be cool if I could make jelly, and then I have jelly, and then I think I came up with the idea of the Jelly Monster, or it may have been as a result of the jelly being a failure that I came up with the Jelly Monster. But anyway, I didn't really have a container. I didn't think about going to or asking the lady. Well, I didn't want to confess to the lady that I was trying to make, what would you call it? Sort of secret jelly in my bedroom.
jelly.
Most parents worry about you doing other things in your bedroom.
No hot plates. No hot plates allowed.
Well, I was making it from the kettle, so I had the kettle in there, but and I didn't have. I could have just gone and bought something and made it in that. But anyway, I had a pot noodle, and then I washed it out, and I thought I'd make the jelly in the pot noodle container. But even though I washed it several times, when I came to it, I kind of put it on the windowsill because obviously at the start of university it would have been October or November. So I think it was probably cold enough for it to set. overnight. But when I tried it, it still tasted of a chicken and mushroom pot noodle as well.
When the universe goes and all the atoms have sort of calmed down and there's no life in the universe, there'll still be fragments of pot noodle floating around.
You see, I've got this image of you, Paul, in bed with the covers up over your head and a torch. You know, most people would be like reading in bed or something like that, but you with a kettle and like little steam coming out of it and all sorts going on.
And I think it was probably because there's certainly an episode where a jelly monster is in the sink, and I think I put a ping pong ball on it for an eye, and that was the jelly that I made and then couldn't eat because it was. So I can't remember if that was the first jelly monster, but yeah, that's how the jelly monster on Sutton Park came about. Almost 30 years ago next year.
Good Lord.
Look, I have a little quiz about March, which I want us to do. We might do another one later if we've got time. I've got quite a few things lined up. So let's see if we can do this one together. It says that this is a tough quiz, and only the average score is 5 out of 10, so we'll see. So in the original Roman calendar, which month was March? Was it the 3rd, the 1st, the 2nd, or the 4th?
Oh, hang on. Hang on, December's the 10th month. Sort of work it out backwards from then. So, December, January... that'll be the first month then. If March would be the first month. Yeah. Because December is 10, as in DEC, as in decimal, I think.
I use the Mayan calendar, so I'm not sure.
Hasn't the world ended by that one or something? Is that?
Actually, yeah, it did.
I feel that the Mayan calendar can turn into a mouse and escape. That's the thing.
The next question, I have to type something in, so you'll have to give me your... question 2, for which of the Roman gods is March named?
Oh, Mars. Yeah. Mars, the god of war.
Right, I've typed that in. Question 3, what is most commonly considered the flower for March? And I think I know this one, but so I'll let you guys decide. But it's pansy, crocus, orchid, or daffodil.
Oh, I'd say daffodil, but I may be wrong.
There's daffodils out on the bank when we go into work, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It would seem fitting. Question.
But that could be the trap.
It could also be different from one country to another, probably. Question 4: March has more than one birthstone. True or false?
True.
Well, I mean, we certainly found that with February. Which of these occurs in March? A solstice or an equinox?
Oh.
An equinox.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's today.
Spring equinox. Yeah.
It was 9:37 this morning.
9:37.
Yeah.
What were we doing at 9:37?
That's
Did we
when
miss
the
it?
spring equinox was meant to occur.
Oh, I must have missed it.
You were in the bath.
I was in the bath.
Were you prancing round? Were you prancing round a stone circle naked?
No, that's called Tuesday.
No.
Apparently, I was in the bath with the last of the summer wine book. Yeah.
This one's easy. I can't believe people only got 5. I regret saying that one. We get the
when we get 3.
yeah. Question 6. Complete this saying. Mad as a March.
Ooh.
Hair.
Yeah.
Mad as a March potato.
Toppy, do you have hairs in America? I mean,
beg your pardon.
Yeah, I mean, we do.
No, we're all bald. It's the baldest country in the world.
Not those ones. The rabbity type ones.
Oh,
yeah. We call them rabbits. I don't know about
Well, we call them rabbits, but hairs are a different sort. But I'm not quite sure.
They've got bigger ears. I definitely think it's the ears. The ears are longer on hairs, I think.
Yeah, but I think it must be something else as well as that.
But there's probably something else, yeah. And they're bigger, I think, hairs than rabbits.
Oh, they're bigger. They're definitely. I think different species, aren't they? I mean, they're a kind of. Don't they have a sort of slightly different leg action or something?
Hares are bigger, swifter, and stronger than rabbits. Hares are born with a fur coat and can see while rabbits are born blind and hairless. While hares live in the wild, rabbits are domesticated.
All right.
The hares dwell in burrows while the rabbits live in nests constructed above the ground. The hares flee once they encounter the enemies.
Wow.
Makes them sound like the $6 Million Man. Bigger, faster, stronger.
And Bugsier. Which was Bugs then?
Well, he was supposed to be a bunny, but apparently hares are solitary animals and rabbits are gregarious. So they have parties.
Well, Bugs lived on his own, didn't he? Most of the time.
Most of the bunnies around here are pretty happy, so they must not be hares.
And they're rarely on their own for long, from what I remember, according to their reputation.
Talking about $6 Million Man. We're in the middle of the quiz here, but Toppy, didn't you and DJ do an episode about a minutia about $6 Million Man yesterday?
Yeah, just last night we covered that.
Did it
show? 7 years.
Yeah. Did it all go well? All go to plan?
Sorry, we're going to have to go into slow motion for the rest of the episode now.
Yeah.
At 60 miles an hour.
In slow motion.
I'm so strong. Look at me lift this thing slowly.
Martin, you did a detailed
fan.
You did a detailed description of the title sequence once on Around the Archives, didn't you?
Yeah, I like Six Rider. It's interesting actually because I've sort of got a fondness for the Dusty Springfield tune, which I think I mentioned.
That's the early one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's because those 3 TV movies they made before. Yeah. But I've only got the first 3 series on disc. For some reason I stopped after the 3rd, and I don't know. I think the mustache year I avoided. I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that even happened until I saw. I sort of was looking into it more recently. But
there was a lot of pictures. Looking, I think whoever did was it Mike Asprey used to do the comic strip for Looking, and suddenly one year he's got a tash all the time. It's good.
Yeah. I think I've actually more recently seen what's she called, Bionic Woman, because we.
The good thing about the Bionic Woman box set is it's got the reunion films on the end. I think actually both sets have, but the 3 when they met up again kind of thing, movies they made.
I think the Bionic Woman, for whatever reason, holds up a little better.
It does, yeah, I think so.
Although sometimes Lindsay Wagner's acting is a little bit eccentric. She tends to, I don't know, she seems to be kissing people more intimately than you'd expect to when they're just passing characters. What's going on there?
I suspect that's the what do you call them, the producers wanting that sort of thing going on. But the thing about Lindsay Wagner, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but she used to be able to do this thing where she'd just open her eyes slightly, and it was a lot of eye acting with Lindsay Wagner. A lot of eye acting.
I think I know exactly what you mean. I could picture it in my head. Yeah, her eyes would suddenly open wide for just briefly, but it was something she did. Yeah.
We better go back to this quiz. We've got 3 more questions. 4 more questions. It's okay. We can do what we like. It's our show. Question 7. There are several other sayings about March. Perhaps the best known is March comes in like a lion and goes out like a
lamb.
A hare. Oh,
it probably does as well. Oops. Actually, no, more like a rabbit.
We haven't got to March winds and April showers yet. Is that one?
Question 8. Caesar was told, beware the Ides of March. On which date are the Ides?
15th.
Oh. It's
the 15th.
It's something like the 15th or 16th, I think. So.
Oh, that's not an option. 15th is so. 13th, 19th, 15th, or 3rd. So.
Day after my mum's birthday, it's gone.
Question 9. When are the first 3 days in March considered unlucky? When the rain falls, when the sun shines, when the wind blows strongly, or when it is unseasonably warm.
Oh, crikey.
Oh, my. All of the above.
I can't do that.
Has that got anything to do with... No, it's all right. I'm just thinking of Groundhog Day. It's all right. It's the wrong month. It's okay.
Well, we need to decide something.
Applying what we said last time, it must be when the weather's nice.
Yes, I would say that sounds quite possible.
All right.
So, question 10: which of these Jewish special days usually occurs in March? Yom Kippur, Chanukah, Purim, or Shavuot? Sorry, apologies for the bad pronunciation.
I think we'll probably go with the one we can pronounce.
Please.
I think it's Yom Kippur. I thought I'm not absolutely sure, but I think I might have seen it on the calendar. You know, they mark off holidays and
yeah. Yom Kippur is the only one that I've heard of. So, but that doesn't mean anything.
It also means I might be pronouncing it so badly you don't recognise it.
Wasn't there a Yom Kippur War?
Yeah, I thought there was, but let's get some answers.
Whew.
Okay. Well, we only have 8 out of 10.
Oh, what?
So we're above the 5 out of 10 average.
But that is 5 brains. Then.
I'm not sure about that.
So we have in the original Roman calendar, which month was March? It was the 1st. Only 40% of players usually get that right. So, question 2: for which of the Roman gods is March named Mars? And 59% of people get that right. The flower which is considered the flower of March is daffodil, but only 21% of people go for that one.
So that's a double blind, isn't it? That's the thing. It's a double blind. People think, no, that's the one that they're trying to draw me to because that's when they come out. But interesting.
March does have more than one birthstone. One of them is bloodstone, which is also called Chalcedony.
The Judas Priest.
Careful how you say that.
Yeah. And that's a Judas Priest song. So there we go. Bloodstone.
And aquamarine for courage.
Aquamarine.
But apparently 61% of people get that right, which is surprising because I would have had no idea what the actual stones were. I mean, the question. I guess the question isn't what they are.
It's a
yes or no.
It's a 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess that's why it's high. That you wouldn't better. I doubt you get the people knowing what the stones were. Which of these occurs in March, a solstice or an equinox? Yes, it's an equinox. 62% of people got that right. 57% of people knew that it was mad as a March hare. And 74% of people knew the phrase March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. It was the 15th of March, which is Beware the Ides of March. 65% of people get that right. Now, the two we got wrong was when the first 3 days in March. When are the first 3 days in March considered unlucky? It's when the rain falls. I thought it made more sense that if it was nice, you thought you were. It says here, if rain falls during the first 3 days in March, it is supposed to foretell a bad harvest. Some superstitious farmers wait until the 4th of March before sowing crops. These days are known as blind days.
We're stuffed this year, then.
28% of people got that right. And then we got the wrong Jewish festival. It was Purim. Purim is a Jewish festival. It is held in remembrance of the time the Jews escaped destruction during the reign of the Persian king Xerxes. It usually occurs in March, but in 2002 it was on February the 26th. It is on the 14th day of the Jewish month of Adar. Chanukah is in December. Shavuot is in May, and Yom Kippur is in September. Although they do spell it Yom Kippur in this version. After having spelt it Yom Kippur, I don't think it's Yom Kippur.
That's another thing this week. That's another thing. There was a question on something, and I was convinced that is it President's Day or is it one of the holiday weekends in America, and I was convinced it was in the first half of the year, and it turns out to be in September. So what do I know?
We'll have a few more facts about March later in the show, but I just have some regulars who are very keen to talk to Mr. Trowbridge very quickly. If we can just wait. Hello, can you hear me, Mr. Trowbridge?
Hello, sir. Yes.
Yeah. I was just wondering, you know that star that I bought the name of. Do you know when the star will be arriving? Do you know when it will be actually? Because I've made space in my little house for it, but
when it's arriving.
Yeah, I thought I bought the name. I'd obviously bought the star as well.
Caveat emptor.
I'm not. I think you've been slightly misled. You'll get the star named after you, but I don't think they actually wrap it and send it these days.
Really?
I don't think so. I might be wrong.
But it burns the paper off. That's the problem.
Yeah, it would have to be. The problem is, if they're going to send you a star, and it fits, and it's small enough to fit in the postman's van, it would be a neutron star, right? Which means it's going to be really, really heavy.
Yeah.
So it's going to fall through the bottom of his van and make
possibly
a hole.
Swallow the van as well.
Yeah, and even if they do get it through your letterbox, you're going to be attracted to it. So you're going to get stuck on it.
Oh, dear.
You won't be able to move.
And of course, the other problem is
gravity. And I think they've had problems with like health and safety, and people like ending up really, really flat because they've been sucked into the star.
Yeah, that sounds like a lawsuit.
Yeah, and the postage is a nightmare because of the weight of the package. It's just...
Well, that's the thing, yeah. A neutron star weighs, 10 to the power of something or other tons. And first-class stamps for that are quite expensive these days.
Yeah.
So I think if you are going to have a star named after you, I think they expect you to go and get it yourself. So you might have to hire a tow truck.
Click and collect.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. If I can't bring it to me, do I have visitation rights? If it can drop me off up there.
Oh yes, you can visit it certainly. It's like when they have some dogs in some sort of homes, isn't it? That you can dogs you can visit, some dogs you can just write to.
Oh, like the donkey, like the donkeys that Paul sponsors. Where would I stand if I wanted to start a business on my star, or build a hotel? Is that something I could do?
I think you can.
Yeah.
Because I think if it's named after you, have you heard about? There's a thing to do with whiskey in Scotland. I don't know if you've heard about. You know about whiskey. There's a certain whiskey in Scotland where if you buy a bottle of whiskey, you get a square foot of the island that you get your name gets on it, so you can visit your square foot of island. So I think it's the same with stars that if you've got your name on a star, you have a certain area that you can do business on.
Do business?
You can do your business on, yeah.
I don't think I want to talk about me doing my business on my star.
But you've got it's like a certain shape, and you can't...
I don't want to talk about my business being a certain shape. That depends on what I've eaten.
Listen, and it's like...
There's a chart,
It's a square shape.
No,
it's the UR star.
It doesn't come out
and
like
you can't
a square.
go over the edge, because a man will come and tell you off. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, right. Cromitty has a question. I'll let him go. comedy. Would you like to ask the question, is it more sensible than Yeti Uncle John? Boy. Well, yes, but it's just a brief one. Hello, Mr. Trugby. Hello, Mr. Trugby. I just wanted to know, is it possible that I might be able to, like...
Sorry, I'm just dropped my toilet. Sorry, I'll explain about that in a minute. Carry on.
I just wondered if it is possible for me to, like, I want to put the person's name on the star as well as calling it after the person. Is there any way I could somehow, not exactly tattoo, but I don't know, put some little stars? Or I don't know. Is there something I could do?
Oh, yes. I know what you mean. Sunspots. That's how you do it. When you look at the sun, don't look at the sun through a telescope, but if you project the sun onto a piece of card and you look at the sun, you can see little black spots on it sometimes.
Yes.
And those are the areas of the sun which are slightly cooler than the rest, right? Okay? So the sun is like glowing yellow, and a sunspot looks like a little black spot. So what you need to do is, have you got a freezing ray that you can? I'm sure somebody must have a freezing ray.
Equal have one of those, yes.
Freeze ray.
Yeah. What you need to do is project a little freezing ray onto the surface of the star, and that'll cool down the areas that you want, and thus you can write your name on the star. The only trouble is, if you project the freezing ray from the Earth, it depends how far the star away is before you can see, the words that you've written on it, because it will take, if it's like 10 light years away, it will take 10 years for the beam to get to the star, and then it will freeze it in the certain areas, and then it will take 10 years for that light to come back. So it will take 20 years for you to see it. And that's for quite a close star. So you might just have to be patient, that's all. So yes, you can do it.
I think you've got a bit of a pyramid scheme going on here with your star selling, haven't you? Oh yes, no, you'll get the rewards, but in 20 years. In 20 years.
Well, that's exactly right. Yes. You by which time I'll be into something else, I expect. So, yeah, I'm no fool.
Well, thank you for your help. Yes, I'll let you know.
That's all right, no problem. Yeah, but have a word with Cuthbert or somebody. He could probably make you a freezing ray. Just don't test it out in the laboratory, because you might freeze certain extremities and they might drop off. So yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, thank you. It's been most kind. It's most kind of you.
He's very polite. He's so polite.
Thanks, Promity. Now, moving on, because we've got a lot to pack in. I am looking back 50 years. This is sort of linked in with a little bit of a wiki wonder. I know we usually, in the past, we have chosen who we wiki wonder about, but this new series, I decide what we're wiki wondering about, and then we use your knowledge. We're starting.
Power. That's what it
I
is.
thought we're starting. We're starting with because it's topical. British television in 1971, so 50 years ago, and there are a few interesting things that interesting facts I have for you about TV in 1971 in the UK. In January, BBC Open University broadcasts began on BBC Two. And in February, after nearly 3 months, the ITV colour strike ends, and programmes resume being made in colour. BBC, between February and March, BBC Two first broadcast the serial Jude the Obscure, starring Robert Powell in 6 45-minute episodes.
Bet that's cheery.
And in February, the BBC Two airs Elizabeth R, a drama serial of 6 85-minute plays, 85-minute plays starring Glenda Jackson in the title role.
Glenda.
You've been watching those, haven't
I
you,
have been
Lisa?
watching those, yes. Yes, Gordon Goslow was in the last episode. I sound like I'm obsessed with Gordon Goslow. That's the last 2 months I've mentioned him. But yes. Yes. I was just reading a little bit about it today, and apparently in the last episode, which they are showing this coming Wednesday on BBC 4, when you get a close-up of Elizabeth I's hands, they're not Glenda Jackson's hands, because her fingernails were stained yellow with nicotine, so they had to get somebody from the office to come in and be stunt hands. How true that is, I don't know, but yeah.
She was already down the pub. We need to do the close-up. She's got the pub.
Now, this is of interest to Toppy, is that on the 29th of March, the long-running US children's educational series Sesame Street begins airing on British television for the first time ever. It will debut on ITV by first airing on HTV. Now, wasn't Sesame Street from them about 69, so they're about 2 or 3 years behind?
Yeah, I would say so. So I know it was running previous to that in the late 60s, definitely.
Yeah.
Public television in the United States was just beginning in the late 60s, so... And Sesame Street was one of their first.
But that kind of figures, because when I remember watching Sesame Street, maybe in the late 70s or early 80s, it seemed a lot older than... Everything seemed a lot more 70s, and these people looked a bit strange to me as a little person, because they didn't look... They were probably much more flary and more like mid-70s rather than early 80s. And now there were a few other things, but there are two more I want to mention. Just making sure. Well, in September, the Old Grey Whistle Test began on BBC Two. That was a music programme, so with lots of live music. In October, the Generation Game began with Bruce Forsyth. And Upstairs, Downstairs also debuted, and Princess Anne. Oh, on my birthday, but 2 years before I was born, on my -2 birthday, Princess Anne opens the BBC's new Pebble Mill studios in Birmingham.
Wow. I would just say the Upstairs, Downstairs made quite an impact here in the US of A. I mean, I'm sure it was after it debuted in the UK, but it did come here, and it was definitely a thing here on our public broadcasting stations that took it up. Upstairs, Downstairs, yeah, that was a thing here.
It's running at the moment.
Yes, it's being shown on Talking Pictures at the moment on a Sunday night and repeated on a Friday evening at 5 o'clock, but we haven't really watched any because as per our Talking Pictures picture is not very good, so it's you can't really watch it. I've got it on DVD anyway. I can watch it anytime I like.
It's sitting over there.
So it's like
other shows that began in 71 include children's favourite and big children's favourite, Mr. Ben, the Two Ronnies, Parkinson, the interview show, Barlow at Large, the Aeneid Line. What else?
That Two Ronnies season is the one with the bloke with the ping pong balls who can't juggle.
Yeah, because they used to. It seemed to be a rule with light entertainment programs in the 70s that you had to have a variety act from somewhere in Europe, preferably. And is he Spanish or something? I can't remember.
I don't know, but he can't juggle.
He's doing these things with ping pong balls, and at one point he must have dropped one, and you can hear it bouncing across the set. So you hear pong, 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 pong.
But he keeps going.
Yeah. Ever an optimist.
Oh, just to jump in, Paul. 20th of March, 1971. Doctor Who: The Claws of Axos, Episode 2 was broadcast. There you go. Available on Blu-ray as of this month.
As of now.
Over on ITV, we had The following shows began in 71: Bless This House, Budgie, The Comedians, Follyfoot, Jason King, The Persuaders, The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes, The Fen Street Gang, Justice. But the last two facts I want to mention, and one of them goes into...
I was just thinking, but upstairs, downstairs was ITV, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. Okay. Although when it came back, wasn't it on BBC?
It was. It wasn't quite that's really hard to say.
It wasn't quite so successful.
That's the one. Thank you. I got stuck in a loop there.
Well, they kind of brought it... I always thought they kind of brought it back because Downton Abbey was doing so well. So the BBC wanted a Downton Abbey substitute.
The problem was it was the setting when they did it, which was in the 30s, was not really a period that is as much fun as the sort of 20s.
With the Titanic and everything.
The Titanic and the First World War and the
yeah, that's more fun.
General Strike and... Well, I didn't say it was fun, you know what I mean. Not much happens in the 30s till we get to 39.
Yeah.
At which point they finish the series. So, in the war. So.
Well, they're all just being a little bit sort of Nazi, aren't they? In the 30s.
Yeah, there was a whole... Yeah, well, there was a an episode of the rebooted Upstairs Downstairs where they Wallis Simpson was coming to the house and they were all excited because they thought she might bring the king, and she didn't. She brought I can't remember his name, the Nazi official that she was friendly with, whose name has presently escaped me, but so yeah.
Somebody who's not a king.
Yes.
Now, on the 7th of June 1971, the UK children's show Blue Peter buries a time capsule in the grounds of BBC Television Centre, due to be opened on the first episode of the year 2000.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Wasn't sealed properly, was it?
No, they didn't seal it properly. When they opened it, it was just full of, like, goo.
I love it. Oh, my God. That must have been something.
And then they lost the other one, didn't they? Because they buried one.
They moved, yeah.
They buried another one, I think.
Yeah.
And couldn't remember where they buried it.
Yeah.
Nobody'd actually marked it down anywhere, so...
Going back to the start of 1971, the 27th of January, on Coronation Street, Valerie Barlow is electrocuted by a faulty hairdryer and then perishes in a house fire on Coronation Street. And...
they knew how to rock and roll in the 70s, didn't they?
Well, I particularly want to mention this because Valerie Barlow was played by Anne Reid, the actress Anne Reid. And I wanted to kind of have a look at some of the things that she has done over the years. Now, unfortunately, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think if she's ever had anything that has been... She's been in so many things, but has she ever been in anything that that Toppy might have seen? I mean...
Well, I can only say I don't recognize the name. So,
yeah, well, she is currently 85 years old, but still acting. But she was in Coronation Street for 10 years, from 1961 to 1971, and she's been in all manner of TV programs. She's been in Doctor Who a couple of times. One of the things that occurred to me, though, was that because she was in Coronation Street in the 60s, she missed being in all the types of shows she probably would have been in, like The Avengers or Madeline Hopkirk or The Champion, or all those ITC shows, because she was doing a soap opera, even though there weren't as many episodes a week as there are these days. She was in 633 episodes. What I've got her IMDb. She is also connected to the comedian, and again, not Victoria Wood. I don't think really sort of is. She probably is known in the States, but not as much as she should be, and not as much as she is revered over here. But Anne Reid appeared in quite a bit of Victoria Wood's shows, and she She was in a show called Dinner Ladies, which I believe may have been shown in the States. Well, certainly, like people like Matt Burlingame probably know who the Dinner Ladies, what Dinner Ladies is. But,
and in the remake of Upstairs Downstairs.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
What I was finding interesting is that her first TV appearance is in an episode of the Benny Hill Show in 1957.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Good
I know that Benny Hill is known in the States.
Yes. But are you saying he was doing his show in 1957?
He was, yeah.
That'll be on the BBC, though, won't it?
Yeah, that's not the David Croft. No, that would be later, wouldn't it? Because David Croft, who was the writer and producer, or one of the writers and producer of Dad's Army, was his producer at one point.
Possibly.
Didn't really get on with him, I don't think.
Yeah, there is a Christmas Night with the Stars with Benny Hill.
Oh God!
Insert, isn't it? And that's BBC.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
He's playing a teenage delinquent, and it's just it's like 5 minutes of your life you never get back.
Not to be judgmental or anything.
Well, it's not funny, is it?
Sort of how I remember Benny Hill is like
what being dreadful.
Basically, we did see it here, and it was funny, but it would be poo-pooed today. I mean, it would be considered very wrong.
I imagine he wasn't being chased by naked girls in 1957, but or semi-naked girls. So I imagine his comedy must have changed over the years.
Yeah, I really, that does surprise me. I didn't know he was had a career so long, but certainly the material that I saw was just material that wouldn't go over today at all. Just no.
There's a lot of that in the 60s and 70s. Whole swathes of television that can't be shown again.
Yeah.
The thing that interests me, and I don't know how many of these episodes exist, but she's in 5 episodes of the TV version of Hancock's Half Hour.
I can't think of one that she's in, so maybe they're missing.
Yeah, must be missing. Yeah.
She's in Lady Chatterley's Revenge in 1957, where she's credited as Anne without the E.
That's missing.
And she's in The Great Detective, also in 1957. She's
also missing.
She's in The Adopted Family in 1957 as young wife. No. She's in There's an Airfield at the Bottom of My Garden in 57.
Oh, that exists, I think.
Yeah, she's the secretary in that.
Isn't that the one where the set falls down?
That's the one, where the table falls apart, yeah. And he has to stand there holding it up for 5 minutes.
And then she's in The Tycoon in 1959.
Well, that exists, isn't it?
Oh, I think that one. Does that one exist?
That ring bells.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Most of the late stuff still exists.
Because there's only one Kenneth Williams one that exists, isn't there?
That's Alpine Holiday, isn't it?
Alpine Holiday, yeah. So there's a big chunk of Hancock missing.
I'm just looking to some of the shows, because I think she might have had a break from TV a bit when she had her son in 1971, and then I think there's a bit of a gap. Well, she did a play for Today in 73. She's in some Crown Courts in 78. She's in an episode of Strangers in 78. And she's in The Mallons. Because I don't really think unless I'd seen her in some Victoria Wood, the first time I was really aware of her was in Doctor Who in 1989. But yeah, I think I was aware that she was an actress. She wasn't just any actress when she was in Curse of Fenric, that she had some history to her.
Is she the mother of when Victoria Wood's swimming the channel?
No, that's Maggie Ollerenshaw.
Oh, it's Maggie Ollerenshaw.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Get them mixed up, yeah.
She was in an episode of A Bit of Fry and Laurie in 1990. She was in The Upper Hand. She was in something called Rich Tea and Sympathy in 1991.
I remember that. I don't remember. I remember the name.
Yeah, it's like she was in all of that. She played a character called Sally. I mean, she's obviously in lots of other things I'm skipping. She's in an episode of Casualty, an episode of The Bill. She's in a Ruth Rendell mystery. She's in something called Firm Friends in between 92 and 94. She's in Pat and Margaret. Well, that was a Screen One Victoria Wood thing. She doesn't play Pat or Margaret because that was Julie Walters and Victoria Wood, but she plays a character called Maeve. She's in an episode of Hetty Wainthropp in 1996. And then it interested me to see that she was in the Paul Merton, where they remade. Well, it says Paul Merton in Galton and Simpsons. That was where they remade some of the scripts, and she was in 3 of those. But it's nice to think that they probably asked her back because she had some connection, at least some connection with the original. Well, she was in Bleak House in 2005. I remember that being quite high.
Bleak House, I remember that came here.
Yeah, and she was in Hot Fuzz. She's been in a Marple, but not one of the good ones. Not the good version. Yeah, I mean, she really, for somebody she's 85 now, but she's not really stopped since she started again in the mid-70s. As you say, she was in the remake or the reboot of Upstairs Downstairs, and I know Toby's keen. She was in Lady of Letters, which was a TV series based on a radio series.
Oh yeah, that's her and Maureen Lipman, is it?
Lipman, but on the radio, I think it was Maureen Lipman and Prunella Scales.
Yeah, them reading the letter that the other one's written to them.
Yeah. She was in a Poirot in 2013, and she was in Years and Years, which was probably the best thing that Rusty Davis has done, I think. Since
Have you not seen It's a Sin?
I haven't seen it all yet because
that is.
I'm not in the mood.
I haven't seen Years and Years, but that is very good. Highly recommended.
I think, I do have it, and I have seen the first episode, but I wasn't in the mood for watching it all at the moment. But Years and Years, Years and Years is quite bleak as well.
Yes.
But she plays like the matriarch, and she's really, really good in that. I mean, she's really, really good in everything she does. I can't imagine Anne Mead's ever given a bad performance, to be honest. But the thing out before we finish was thing that she's kind of been known for is a show called Last Tango in Halifax, which I believe they did. I've not seen it. I do want to watch it.
Oh, because it's wonderful. You would like it. I watched all of it and I really enjoy it. It's her and Sir Derek.
Derek Jacobi, yeah. It looks like they did the last series just last year. So.
Yes.
Yes.
They I think they managed to film it just before before we got into the present times. But yeah, no, it's a really good series. Highly recommended. Great cast. So lots of sort of familiar faces. So.
Can I tell you something I just discovered randomly on YouTube here in America?
Yeah.
An old, not sure of the year, but it was black and white video, and it was a series from the UK, The Invisible Man. Are you guys aware of this?
Deborah Watling.
Ah, yes, I remember.
Oh, is it the David McCallum version?
McCallum,
colour, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the David McCallum version was a brief thing here in America, which I remember vividly because I watched it. It was
remember
good.
The Gemini Man as well, weren't you? Then old Ben Murphy.
But this was black and white video from the UK, and it was The Invisible Man, and they had very practical special effects to show the presence of the Invisible Man. And I've just seen like 6 episodes of it recently.
I think
I don't know anything more about it.
I do think that it may have been repeated, like on late night back in the 80s when I used to set the video for all sorts of things. If it's the series that we think it is, it was aired from September 1958 to July 1959, and one of the little, I presume she would have been a little girl in it, is played by an actress called Deborah Watling, who we know as being one of Patrick Troughton's companions in Doctor Who.
Kaiser Pudding Girl.
Yes, that we mentioned earlier. So spooky. But yeah, there were 2 seasons, and
I have them. They were released by. Was it Network? I think it's a Network one. So
the only thing I can think of when I think of that series, because I don't think I've ever seen a full episode.
No.
There's just a picture of Debbie Watling holding the hand of the Invisible Man, and there's this sort of
overcoat
with no head. Yeah, yeah,
and very long arms.
I guess it partly exists because it's an ITV show and they seem to look after their things much better.
I think it's an ITC. I think it's possibly on film. I think that's possibly why it survives more than anything. Because ITV actually were notoriously bad, weren't they, in the 60s and 70s, keeping their videotape stuff, certainly.
Yes. You ask well, you can't. I think she passed away now. Pamela Lonsdale. Because they made the decision to junk the first 2 series of Ace of Wands when she wasn't in the room.
Yeah. Had she been in the room, it might have survived.
It would have probably existed still. Yeah.
Now, I would like. We're going to choose a couple of clips from the Shy Life podcast archives now. One of them is going to be done randomly by. It's not Cuthbert. It's a random website I found. If it all goes wrong, Cuthbert will come after me. But and the other one, I'm going to roll a dice, and whoever gets chosen will be the one who picks the month and the year. But we'll do the computer generated one first. So I've set it to pick a date between the start of the show and the current episodes, and I'm going to press the button now. So, okie dokie. I have got the 1st of May 2019. So I shall pick an episode. I shall look and try and find the episode that's closest to that. So we actually have an episode from that day. It is episode 249. It was called Shy Yeti'S New Assistant. And I think this is the episode where Cuthbert tries to get a robot help in, who I think this is where the Control Incorporated story began, in fact. But I'll share with you a clip now and see if you remember it. Cuthbert, what's going on? Listeners, I'm worried. The last time he said something like that was when he downloaded the Smellcast app. And that didn't end well. That's not still in your system, is it?
No, Paul. I have been busy, though. Whilst the Southern Park clips were playing, and whilst you were doing your work, I was busy enrolling you on a new scheme.
A what? A new scheme? What's going on?
I have put you on a waiting list for a new manager to assist you.
A new manager? What? I have had a manager before. Her name was Julie. In fact, she was Callum's sister. She was a guest on our show quite near the start. Cuthbert, I'm not sure I can afford to have a manager. Not for the podcast. And my writing, it's too much. It's going to be too expensive.
No, Paul, it won't be expensive. I have spoken to the motherboard and got you a discount. It is a very good company called Control Incorporated. They have a 5-star review and are one of the best in the business.
Really? Well, I guess it can't hurt. Maybe I can speak to them just about doing a trial scheme, seeing how it goes. Because if I can't rely on the regulars to help out, then I suppose I do need people who help with the social media and the blog and then of course getting my book promoted. It's a lot of work.
Control Incorporated will help, Paul. Just you see.
I suppose so. All right. So what do I have to do?
Apparently they will be getting in touch with you within half an hour.
Half an hour? Golly. I wonder if they'll ring on the phone, or what details did you give them?
Your phone number and also an email address.
Oh, okay. Oh, just a minute. So I've got an email just popped up. It says it's from Oh yes, Control Incorporated.
What does it say, Paul? Is it an email?
Looks like it's an email, but there's a welcome message, and then I'm supposed to log on to some sort of I don't know, like a instant message thing. Oh, I've seen one of those. You can talk to people directly.
Listen to the message, Paul. This is exciting. This could be the end of all your problems.
I guess so. Let me have a look. Okay, so this is a message.
Hello. I am your new assistant. My name is Rob. It is a pleasure to meet you. I would like to welcome you to Control Incorporated Management Services.
There we go. Right. So how many of us are in the room? There's four of you. Okay. I don't know how we're going to work this out, but let's say I'll roll it until it gets 1, 2, 3, or 4. So Toppy can be number 1, Martin can be number 2.
Sounds about right.
Lisa can be number 3, and Andrew can be number 4. If we get 5 or 6, I'll just roll it again. So I've got a dice website. So I'm rolling a virtual dice. So I'm pressing the button now, and number 5. That's no good. I'll have to roll again. It's spinning around and number 6.
We're doing very well in Vegas at the moment.
I go to one more time.
Higher or lower?
Oh, for God's sake, 5 again.
It is a two-sided dice, isn't it?
I really should have got
a dice.
I should have got Tomati and Yeti Uncle John to be 5 and 6, but it might have been seen as being unfair. Let me roll once more. Oh,
just too lucky for you.
It's 6 again.
5, 6, 5, 6.
Right, do it again.
Just one at Ludo.
I don't understand this. What is going on? He's 6 again. Why is it?
It's a random number generator.
Right, finally. Now I can't remember whose number was. I think it's Lisa. It's number 3. That was Lisa's number, I think. So, Lisa, could you pick a year, a month, and a day in the month?
Okay. We'll go for 2018.
Yep.
And we'll go for the 23rd of March.
Right. So 23rd. There was an episode on the 24th, so that's near enough. And that was episode 155, and it was called Chit Chatting on Our Travels. It was. Oh well, it all sounds rather mysterious. It says we're talking about holidays. The regulars are there. There are poems and clips from a 1998 episode of Sutton Park. It's all rather mysterious, so I think we better take a clip.
I love the fact that even you don't know what it is.
I don't know for this description. It's not specific enough, so yeah, we'll have a listen and see if it helps at all. I did one big sort of hiking holiday, but that was in the UK, where I had a tent, and I just did get so tired because you weren't just doing like 5 miles a day or 10 miles, doing 15 or 20 miles, and I think in one case more like 25, on hills as well. In the summer, in a year where the summer was actually hot, it was an adventure, and I've got a lot of it on Sutton Park, but there's probably a reason I only did it once or twice. Oh, it sounds very nice. It sounds very nice, Paul. Very interesting. Lots of places. But Yeti Uncle John, what about you? Where is somewhere that you really have enjoyed going to? Oh, I have travelled, but I do find it a bit. I do like my home comforts. I do like, I have been to a few places. Just trying to find it in this book of yours. Hong Kong,
Been to Hong Kong? No, just reading the words. Guatemala. Oh, right, you've been to Guatemala? No, just reading the words. Finland. Have you been to Finland? No, just reading the words. Just flicking through this book. Finland looks very nice. Ecuador. Have you been? No. No. Where have you been to? China. You've been to China? No, I've made some tea in China. Like in a cup. I've been to Swindon. That's probably my favourite place. Yeti Uncle John, Sweden. Did you say Swindon or Sweden? Not Sweden, for goodness sake. Swindon in England, near Oxford. Yeah, sort of quite close to Oxford. It's not very scenic there, is it? No, it doesn't have to be scenic though, does it? No, I've been to Milton Keynes, and been to Woking, but that's quite near to the house, and to Slough. Slough's quite nice. Sorry, listeners. Some of these places you may not know. They're kind of newish towns, quite new towns in the UK, kind of known for, well, not exactly being the most obvious places for people to visit, let's say. Don't want to be unkind, but Yeti Uncle John, you've been on some journeys. You've been on some journeys for the show. How do you like that? You went to Verona, didn't you? Oh, yes. Yeah. I quite like some of the places I've been to on the podcast, but they don't really beat Swindon. They just don't. Of course, the Isle of Wight, which is where a lot of the Yeti'S come from. Yes, the Isle of Wight. Well, you can't beat the Isle of Wight, hey? Yes. Yeti Uncle John isn't so much for a traveller, listeners. I'm surprised by that. I thought you were. Whoa, I'll get on a bus. I'll even sit on a boat, but I just want to get to the other end, really, and have a nice sleep, put my feet up. Not very ambitious, are you? Oh, not these days, no. Nothing wrong with that. Staying at home's fine. Yeah, staying at home's fine. I guess it is. Well, thanks for talking to us, Yeti Uncle John. I do hope you will come with us when we go on some of our trips this year. Oh, I'm sure I will. Yeah, someone's got to look after you, haven't they? Someone's got to look after you. Well, there you go. I'm none the wiser, but there we go. But anyway, well, I think that's enough for going back into the archives for this episode. I don't think we've got time for another quiz, but I might share with you.
Just pulled my Invisible Man set off the shelf here.
Oh, yes.
The Invisible Man was played by himself.
Yeah.
Yes, we do not. Well, I imagine we do know who the Invisible Man was, but Ernest Clark was in it.
Right.
There was a later version of the Invisible Man that Barry Letts did.
Yes.
Wasn't there? In which you could see Michael Sheard's arse, couldn't you?
His bottom, yes.
Yeah, Michael Sheard's bottom.
Oh, well, that was the adaptation, wasn't it? That was the classic serial based upon the novel. Well, this claims to be based upon the novel. It's not. It's action adventure, but with an invisible man.
I would just add that whatever it was that I saw, it was the episodes were half an hour.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah.
So Brian Clemens, Ray Austin, all involved in it. It's proper ITC Avengers-y stuff. It's
the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Now to wind up with, I have a few more facts about March. Now apparently, I don't know if anyone can tell me which two signs, but March has two zodiac signs in it. Can you tell me which two?
Well, I'd say Pisces is one of them.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct.
And so probably Aries?
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct.
Ooh.
Yes. Up until March the 20th.
It's all nonsense, of course, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm glad you covered ourselves there. Get Carl Sagan in.
In fact, in fact, at time of recording,
we're on the cusp.
Aries starts tomorrow.
Wow! So all the people born overnight, their complete personality will change after midnight. Wow,
Absolutely,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, if the clocks change, we'll never know. Oh.
So
I shouldn't mock. People take this very seriously, don't they?
What's the time? Some of these ones are very basic, like March is the time of year when animals start waking up from hibernation. Well, only.
Oh shit! Sure.
Oh, that's what's wrong with me.
I don't think any of them hibernate. I'm convinced. The way the squirrels have been running up the tree all winter, those squirrels aren't hibernating. They might have long naps, but they're up and about all the time. Talk about the squirrels.
Of course, March is known for St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. We had that this week. Not that I really paid much attention to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever drank beer that's been dyed green.
The dyeing of the Liffey.
That just sounds. I'm sure you probably can't even taste it when you drink it. But
well, the thing is, I mean, a decent beer, you probably couldn't see the colour change anyway. Could you? I mean, if you had a glass of Guinness, you put any colour in it, it just looks like a glass of Guinness. So
yeah.
I think it'd have to be a lager, and that just doesn't bear thinking about.
Now I've got a couple before we finish. So on March the 10th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell made the first ever phone call.
Hello.
It was to his assistant, and he said,
"Watson, come here. I need you."
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, the bedroom.
That's in Father's Day.
Yeah.
With Christopher Eccleston, because you get the first phone call. Hang on, let me use my toilet roll. Watson, come here. I need you.
God's sake.
See, you got live effects there online.
Yes.
Hello.
It doesn't actually say which year or exactly which day in March, which is a bit of a fault when you're trying to do a fact. But apparently, in March some year, the Eiffel Tower was ascended for the first time. It really needs to say which year for it to be a fact. Otherwise, it's just.
Well, I would have waited for the elevator.
Yeah, I have been up the Eiffel Tower a number of times, and when I was younger and fitter, I have walked up to the first viewing platform. But I have also taken the lift. And I have been right as high as you can go. I mean, there might even be a higher level.
We need brave.
But it's so difficult to. Well, I just channeled.
I felt wobbly at level 1. I thought, I'm not going any higher on this thing. Looks a bit fragile for my taste.
Unfortunately, the most recent, my last 2 or 3 visits, which were when I was doing poetry videos in the early 10s. I was with people who didn't want to wait in the queue or go up, so I don't know that I ever filmed. I did do some Sutton Park in Paris in the 90s. So whether when I go back
Sutton
to
Park, I
might go back and find that there are scenes up the Eiffel Tower. I do remember having I remember having Cromarty in wandering around Paris for sure. Do you remember that Cromarty? I do, Paul. I remember it well. I think I'll have to.
You'll always have Paris.
Yes. Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. So I usually check out before we say goodbye. But Andrew and Lisa, how is the next episode of Round the Archives going?
Well, by the time this is released, hopefully it should be either out or imminently out.
Yes.
We've just recorded our article for it this afternoon.
Yes.
Which is on dial 999.
Sorry, now do it properly.
Have I got to do it properly?
Yeah.
No, which is on dial 999. The incredibly slow-paced title sequence.
So not much content this month. Then it's just lots of pauses.
Really slowly. That's why the episode's going to be a bit longer this time because of all those pauses.
Did you actually put spaces between every word as you had the conversation?
Yes.
Did you Shatner it? Might
have done. So yes,
are we allowed to say what the other articles are?
yes. So it's Bob Fisher and Andrew T. Smith plugging their new book on Last of the Summer Wine.
Mm-hmm.
There's an article on Kolchak by Warren.
Hooray.
There's an article on Shoestring by, I can't remember who did that.
Yeah.
Paul and Nick. And then there's me and you, Lisa, on Dial 999.
Yes.
So,
I think it's okay to say, because I won't say what the article's about. But Toppy and I have done an article which would have been used this month, but we decided to swap around because it's one of our mammoth articles. So
it's a long one, isn't it, Paul? It's a long one.
So I think we're aiming to put that out on the April.
Yeah, otherwise it would have gone well over the 2 hour mark. But the nice thing is we've got bits to choose from for the next couple of issues, so we can juggle things a bit.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, and we've got episode 60 coming up, so we've got to try and think about what we're going to do for that.
Yeah. We have some ideas.
We do.
I've been recording with a few other people for later episodes, for later articles in the year as well. So, Martin, you've got more podcasts than. How are all your podcasts doing?
As awfully as ever, really. No, they're ticking along. They're ticking along nicely. Where are we? When's this one out?
Next week, a few days time. So yeah, before the end of March.
Before the end of this week.
Yeah. Yes.
Space Soldiers 3 will be next Saturday morning. And I think Sunday evening next week will be it'll be Andrew talking about science.
God, that's me, isn't it? Oh,
yes.
bloody hell, yeah.
on Vision upon Sound. So that's coming out. Sunday the 28th, isn't it?
Am
I doing anything else?
A to Z, where are we on?
A to Z. Well, A to Z for this month is already out. It's the Woman in Black, which seems to be doing reasonable business, and I don't think we've been shouted at too much by the people who think it's great. Well, we're honest. We're honest about it. And we recorded the next one yesterday. So yeah. While I was still feeling bright and bushy-tailed before my vaccine kicked in. And so I've been a bit under the weather today. I apologise, but I'm in a bit of post-vaccine blur today. So
yeah, I was a bit like that when I had mine. Space Soldiers. Is that right? Did I get the title right?
Space Soldiers, yes. Yeah. A Flash Gordon commentary podcast. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder, was that something that was shown in? Was that English or was it American? So will Toppy have heard of it?
Oh, Flash Gordon. Yeah, Flash Gordon's all American.
Yeah.
Totally heard. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I presume so.
In fact, to be frank, it's a bit of an imposition for us to be doing it, quite frankly. But we think it's our unique observations. We're not trying to be forensic about it or tell anybody details. We're just trying to have some fun with it, and and I think we do. I think it's quite fun. They're only 20-25 minutes long. They're not, and we're not trying to claim sort of any kind of intimate knowledge of it. So I think it's a fun little show, and it'll last as long as it lasts.
Well, we listened to episode 1 and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You're making me want to watch it again, which is unusual because we gave up on it, didn't we? But yeah.
Well, the thing is, if we're just yabbering, you don't actually have to watch it. That's the beauty of it. we never know what's going on. We get talking and we actually completely lose track of what's actually happening.
Additionally, Martin and I have been continuing to record episodes about the music of the 1960s, and we had one out last month, which was 66, I think. But we've got 67, 68, and 69 already in the can, and
we've recorded our 69. Yes, we have.
Yes. And Toppy, what is the podcasting landscape for you? How's the Smellcast, and how is Matinee Minutia?
Oh, Matinee Minutia is going on good. like we mentioned earlier, we just did the $6 Million Man, and so that's going good. On the Smellcast, well, this is a busy year because it's the bicentennial for Pickle Hollow. So there's all kinds of things coming up. And threatening it all is the presence of a killer gerbil. Anyways, it's bound to be strange. So there you go.
I should mention, if listeners, you've skipped any episodes, you really must go back and listen to the episode before this, because it's called "What Will They Think?" and not only does Toppy appear in it, but Aunt Tappy does as well, and you get to hear all that they are thinking, and which is different from what they are saying to each other. So, and when I was editing it, it's one of those ones where you don't quite know how it's come out, and also I'd recorded by myself, and I was very pleased when I put it all together that it sort of came out as I wanted it to, despite the fact that Toby pulled the plug on the internet, because he was mucking around with the internet. When Toppy and I were recording, and we were plunged into darkness, but we were plunged into darkness just after Toppy made a comment which worked as the last line of the episode anyway. So we probably would have had another 10 or 15 minutes of us trying to finish the episode if Toby hadn't have pulled the wrong plug. But do you remember the time you did an episode about an earworm, and then we did an episode about an earworm.
I noticed that. I remember that. Yeah,
we did a different sort of earworm.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, you have to come up with these. Most podcasts don't have to think about things like this, do they? Oh, dear.
No, not at all. I mean, what are the chances? Earworm, But no, it's, listen, I mean, the fact is we're often on the same mind link. That's what I think.
And then it can come back to us. Oh, well, it's been an interesting episode, I think.
Totally. It's been the best. I mean, this has been a really great episode. Well, I guess it was okay, It was fair to middling. No, it was really a good episode. Oh my God. Hi, are you still there? Pa, what happened? I can't hear you. Pa, what happened to you? Oh no. He's gone. I offended him. He's gone. Uh-oh. Eek. Oh, my internet. My internet fell. Eek, oops.
So yes, it is good to get that one released, and we've got lots of episodes coming up that are many of them in the can, and ones that I'm sort of newly recording, and then we've got ones that Nick and I recorded last year still to release. So yes, we're jumping around the calendar, but anyway, well, thank you all for being here as my guests, and thank you listeners for listening, and thank you to Yeti Uncle John and Party. We promise we'll get this star business all sorted out as soon as possible. Okie dokie. Goodbye for now.
Bye. Goodbye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
I gotta go now. Bye. Gotta go. Bye.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh, such mysteries.
Yeti. He's crazy.
Ooh, yippee.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
Hello listeners, now it is time for some extra material. First up we have some chatter between Paul, Callum and wifey Joe, recorded earlier this year.
Hello. Oh, you're muted still.
That's better.
Hello.
Hello. I was going to put my earphones in, but the sound's coming through the thingamy rather than there. I wonder, could you just recite something for me for a minute? I just want to try something. I'm just going to disconnect you.
Okay.
Off you go.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
I think probably better because I've got a big TV screen that I use, not for TV screen, well, it's the size of a TV screen, it's bloody huge, for work. And I thought, so I put it up, but of course my laptop is here, whereas the screen is here. And the sound comes through the TV. There must be a way of changing that in settings or something, mustn't there? Now I think about it.
Dales, do you know? Dales is thinking about it, he'll let you know.
I was thinking about it, giving it some consideration. So I thought, well, we'll blow it. I'll just switch that. I'll just unplug that and then I can just see you. Are you all right?
I'm on a different laptop now because the one I last used was starting to sort of cut out, and then like the drive would vanish, and then it would come back, and then Dealey's noticed Toby. That's why his eyes are suddenly got very excited. He's woken up.
Oh.
Last weekend I did two friends who do podcasting in the States. They were appearing at this science fiction convention. It was all online. They weren't reviewing a science fiction film, but they asked for a volunteer. So they're talking about Harold and Maude, which is a film I like from the early 70s. So we were supposed to be on Zoom for that, and it started. And within 1 minute of starting, the doorbell rang. So I had to rush off. It wasn't even for me; it was for food for upstairs or something. And then Dealey came and sat on me, which that was fine. But Callum's here now. Here we are. Who's this, Deals?
Here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
All four of us are
Hello
here.
there. Yes.
You're downstairs. You're downstairs today.
Well, why not?
Oh no reason. It's exciting. You're seeing a different room.
Different wall. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, this is where I was. Well, it's where I was when you saw me last.
Oh, was it? Oh, that time was it?
Yeah, on Friday.
Oh yeah, because we had Callum's sister's 50th Zoom party, but there was more of us then. It wasn't so easy to tell. And Dealey's going to the vet on Thursday. You don't know it, do you?
No.
You don't know it.
He's having his COVID.
No, he's just having his checkup.
Flu jab.
You should have a little hat, Deals. You'd be so cute. No, he's just having his checkup after what he had before. And Toby said he thinks it would just be easier if he goes by himself, so I don't have to go rushing after him. So that's good, really.
Is that Dealey just goes by himself, or is that?
Dealey takes Toby in a bag. No, you wouldn't want to do that to us. That would be too much work for you.
It would. Too much for your average cat.
He likes coming in when I play my records in the evenings. He likes to come and sit on me and This morning we were listening to Dusty Springfield. He came rushing in as soon as I started playing. He's very cultured. Yeah, I like a bit of Dusty.
Dusty orientated. I've just clocked it. Are those CDs in the corner of that room, Paul?
Yeah.
How in God's name do you find anything?
Well, I don't really need to. It's more keeping them for the car.
Oh, I see.
It's keeping the wall up.
Keeping the wall up. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can still transfer them if I.
You don't buy new CDs now, do you? You just buy
very occasionally, like, well, particularly with that Kylie album, I bought each version had some reason for buying it, so I did buy the CD version. Although my new laptop, I have got an external drive because I bought an external CD drive. Well, you can just pop it in the DVD player. Actually, I suppose I have got I can play any CD through my TV if I wanted to. I always kind of forget that you can do that. You don't forget. You remember. You're like Cat Stevens.
How is your new laptop?
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't. I don't think it has. Didn't we think that my old one had two memory bits? Two sections.
Discs.
Two discs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one doesn't seem to have a lot of storage for. I could probably edit one or two podcasts at a time, and then I'd have to clear it out. So I've been using I've just been plugging in my external drive and editing from that, rather than trying to find a home for all the files. Yeah.
Are you connected on the Wi-Fi? Does it actually have a network socket on it?
I'm not sure because we don't have a wire out here for me to try that. But I found that, was it Dropbox or one of those ones, I was able to transfer stuff from my old laptop to the new one just by pushing it through there. But I was kind of hoping my old laptop could be like a traveling laptop to use when I go to my parents and things. But I was kind of thinking, you probably jumped the gun and needing to buy a new one. But then last week in the last week or so, it started going 2 or 3 times a day, like going to the blue screen of death. So I think it was the right time before something happened, and I rather prepare for the inevitable. It's better than the last one where I threw coffee over it. Although the only thing is, the one that's just gone only really lasted 2.5 years, which isn't very good for a laptop. Yeah. Should have a bit longer life than that. But its predecessor got coated in coffee when we were up in Dunbar.
Oh yeah.
But, you know how you have those vanity, like you have like hotel rooms, you have like a vanity unit. I was trying to use that as a laptop table, and it probably wasn't really big enough. It wasn't a particularly big hotel room either.
Oh dear.
Oh. Question 1. Who released her second album, 21, in 2011? Adele, Beyonce, Leona Lewis, or Kelly Clarkson?
That's Adele.
Adele, yeah. She can't be bothered to come up with a title for an interesting title for her album. She just names them after whatever age she is at the time. Question 2. What is the title of the only opera written by Beethoven? Don Giovanni. I have no idea.
The Marriage of Figaro.
Figaro. Question 3. Rock and Roll Gumbo was the debut album of whom? Larry Williams, Professor Longhair, Sonny Till, or Link Ray? No idea. Larry Williams.
And I want to know.
Yeah. Question 4. What is the name of the male voice that lies between bass and tenor? Baritone, alto, bel canto, or tenorite? Baritone? I don't know. Or maybe I don't know the last two. I've never heard of them.
I don't know. Is baritone what's the very lowest one? Not that's going to help.
Or alto? I've never heard of those other two, so they can't be that common.
No.
I've heard of What to go for? Baritone or alto?
Alto.
Question 5. Mariah Carey teamed up with which boy band to release Thank God I Found You? Backstreet Boys, Jagged Edge, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. Two of those, Jagged Edge and 98 Degrees, I've never heard of. So it's either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. Let's say Backstreet Boys. Question 6. Which of these was the name of a successful 50s group? The Del Normans, the Del Romans, the Del Vikings, the Del Hands.
Let's say the Delamitris.
I've never heard
of any of those.
Del Vikings then. Question 7. Who had a worldwide hit with I Believe I Can Fly in 1997?
R. Kelly.
Yeah. Ricky Martin, R. Kelly, Will Smith, or Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Well, it's a mixed question. Question 8. What is the correct title of a 2013 Lady Antebellum album? Silver, bronzed, platinum, or golden?
Kylie Antebellum.
I have no idea. Bronzed. Question 9. Quo Motion is a tribute band to which British band?
Quo, Status Quo.
Must be. Question 10. The Blue Danube Waltz was composed by which Strauss? George, Johann, Richard, or Ludwig?
Johann? I think it might be a Johann and a Richard. Well known. But...
Question 11. The DC superhero Green Lantern features in which hit by Donovan? Could be Sunshine Superman, but I'm not 100% sure. Could be Mellow. It could be Mellow. Could be Mellow Yellow. Let's say Sunshine Superman. Question 12. Who sang the theme song to the James Bond movie Skyfall? That
was Adele, wasn't it? That one?
Yeah, Leona Lewis, Beyonce, Kelly Clarkson, or Adele. That's Adele. Question 13. Which pop star won a Golden Globe in 1962 for his role in Come September? Bobby Darin, Dwayne Eddy, Buddy Holly, or Elvis Presley? I think it might. Well, is it Elvis Presley? Otherwise, I'd say Bobby Darin, maybe.
I'd say Presley.
Okay. Question 14. Which band released the 1997 album entitled White on Blonde? That was Texas.
Yeah.
Question 15. Peter Jean Hernandez is the real name of which pop star? Jay Sean, Nelly, Snoop Dogg, or Bruno Mars? I have no idea. Let's say Bruno Mars.
Okay.
Question 16. Which European country was the birthplace of Gautier?
Oh, Gautier.
Yeah. Belgium, England, France, or Netherlands?
Well, I was thinking Scandinavia, but that's not one of the options.
Don't even know who that is. Is that
somebody I used to know? That one, an awful song.
France. Then. Question 17. Diddy Wah Diddy was a 1956 hit for whom? Gene Vincent, Johnny Cash, Bo Diddley, or Carl Perkins?
Diddy Wah Diddy.
So it's not Do Wah Diddy Diddy Dum Diddy Do.
No. Not do.
There's a Bo Diddley.
Carl Perkins.
Right. Question 18. British MP Diane Abbott learnt to play which musical instrument in the TV series Play It Again?
No options for that one?
No.
I'd say the piano.
Yeah. Not the banjolele. Question 19. Raymond IV is the real surname of which pop star? Nelly, Usher, Nas, or R. Kelly?
Oh, it's got to be Nas, isn't it?
Yeah. Question 20. In which country was Maurice Ravel born? Hungary, Italy, Germany, or France?
Sounds French.
Yeah. Let's get some answers.
Answer smash.
Who released it? Yes. Question 1. It was Adele who did the 21 album. The title of the only opera written by Beethoven was Fidelio, so that's not. We didn't get that one. Rock and Roll Gumbo is an album by Professor Longhair. We didn't get that one. We were right to eliminate those last two, the male voice ones. But unfortunately, we went for alto and it was baritone. Mariah Carey did her duet with 98 Degrees. We were right with question 6, but only by guessing. The Dell Vikings is the name of the 1950s band. I Believe I Can Fly was the song by R. Kelly. The Lady Antebellum album was called Golden, which I would have said that, but Kylie's album's called that, but I'm sure a lot of people, well, they would have done it before she did it. Quo Motion is a tribute band to Status Quo. Which one did we say for Strauss?
Nas.
George, Johann, Richard, or Ludwig?
I think we said Johann.
That's right. The DC superhero Green Lantern does feature in the song Sunshine Superman by Donovan. Adele did sing the theme song to Skyfall. He overruled me with the Come September song. It was Bobby Darin, not Elvis Presley.
Oh, right.
Question 14. Question 14. White on Blonde is an album by Texas. Peter Jean Hernandez is Bruno Mars. Goit comes from Belgium. We can get that. I think you might have overrun me with the Diddy Wah Diddy. Did you say Carl Perkins? It was Bo Diddley, but I think we got that. What did you say said piano for Diane Abbott?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was piano. Raymond IV is the real surname of Usher, not Nas.
Oh, God.
And Maurice Ravel was born in France. So he got 11 out of 20.
That's pretty good.
It's more than 50%. I will ask you how you are, because we might as well just start. Making sure that the backup's recording.
It's always recording, like the little red dot.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to tell us?
I'm recording you guys.
Do we give permission, Lisa, or do we withhold it?
No, we don't withhold it.
So there's this thing called a podcast. Now, I know you won't know anything about this, but...
in what guise are you recording it?
I've got a little stenographer, Sparrow, who's noting it down with her beak.
Secretary bird.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Rose is back there. Good, right, now we can go. Now we're ready.
Okay.
I have a cat in position.
Oh, God, was that compulsory this week? You didn't warn me.
Well, Lisa's got a hot water bottle, I've got a cat. So.
I think I know who's got the better deal. Though.
Yeah, the cat's usually warmer.
And let's listen. And it's like a square. It's a square shape, and you can't go over the edge because a man will come and tell you off. Okay, you got that? I'm not surprised.
Okie dokie. I don't think we need to do any other bits and pieces because I'll have extra material as well. So, thank you very much. I think.
Stop recording.
Yeah.
Over. Got 1 hour 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I didn't think we needed an extra quiz on top of that. So.
That's good. There we go. Yeah. We can start transferring it in a bit.
Yeah.
I'm no fool. I'm no fool. I'm no fool. I'm no fool.